Hello. Well, as you know, we're going on an adventure to Scotland for the NC 500, and to make our channel a bit more exciting and to show what we actually see when we're there, we thought we'd treat ourselves. I'm not sure if you can see on the camera though. Here comes a dog.
Hi, buddy.
To a drone, an actual decent everyday flyer cam, Mavic Mini. So we're going to actually look at it for the first time and see what we've got.
So we thought that we would open it with you guys, just to let you see what's in the box and see what it's all about.
Opening the box in itself could be a challenge. Oh, nice.
So tiny.
Small, isn't it?
It's so tiny. Lexie, come away, darling. Yeah, we got two dogs if you didn't know. Buddy's in the back
Oh yeah,
over
you can see that there, look.
and this is Lexie.
In the way, as usual. Put in, out or in.
Come on then.
There we go. You see what it looks like when you first open it, I suppose. It's pretty good. Is it supposed to be grey or is it supposed to be white?
Yeah, great. Lexie,
Grey,
darling.
yeah. Okay, I'm in a different
Oh,
way.
the fun of being vloggers with pets. Come on, darling. Out here.
She's just curious
Good
to what
girl.
we're doing, Lou, that's all.
Okay.
I suppose you just take it apart, isn't it? Oh, that's heavy.
That's a controller, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the
Do you
controller.
want to show them the drone?
Yeah.
Like, look how tiny this drone is. Like, when we saw other YouTube videos, we thought the box was going to be like big and it was going to be like this big thing. And then Marc came home with it that other day and I was like, is that it?
Smaller than a shoebox, isn't it, really? The actual
So
box
this
you
is
get.
how tiny it is. Literally the size of my phone. Maybe
I don't wanna drop it.
maybe a little bit
Right,
smaller
sure.
than my iPhone 11.
Try
But
and
it
get
is
a comparison.
tiny. Absolute
Almost
tiny.
like a Xbox controller.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same size.
But the camera actually records in 2.7K, and the videos we've watched, the camera looks really, really
It's
good.
really good, to be fair. So weird that it's so tiny.
We're going to go and take a look at it, set it up, and then we will come back and show you guys when it's all set up, and then it'll be the long charge.
Yeah, the long charge before we ever go, I suppose.
So just to let you know, this is the DJI Mavic Mini drone.
Yes, it's just under the weight limit for registering it. Although they're changing it all at the moment to do with the it's actually to do with the camera, from what I hear, about privacy laws and all that. So I think in general, if anything records, you're probably going to have to, probably wrong here, but you're probably going to have to register all of them now, I presume, the ones that actually video record. And that's the
Yeah,
control.
what Marc said is it's got to be, if your drone's under 250 grams, is it in grams?
Yeah, it's grams, yeah.
250
Not
grams.
kilos, babe, might struggle to get off the ground.
You don't have to register it, but if it is over 250 grams, you do have to register it. But it's dead cheap. It's £9 and you do like a 20 question theory test.
The cable, oh, okay.
So I think we're going to take that anyway because it's all changing in January.
Yes.
So if we do it now, hopefully it'll be a bit cheap and we would have saved ourselves some money.
And I recommend, because they're not exactly cheap, looking at insurances when you do get one. We went to Curry's to get ours and they did offer us something, but it didn't really cover
what we need.
what you need if
we're
you
gonna
lose
be,
the drone.
Yeah,
or
because we're going to be going
damage
over
it
a lot of
accidentally.
locks, aren't we?
Yeah, and if,
A lot of locks and sea, and if it drowns, then we don't get replacements.
I
It's
mean,
a lot
that
of
is
money.
sort of your own fault as such, but if you can insure it, it's always best to, considering the amount of money you're paying for them.
Yeah. So we're currently looking for one.
Yeah, we found one, so hopefully that should cover us when we're actually using it.
Yeah.
So let's.
So I guess we'll see them in a bit then.
Yeah.
So we're just going to put this
Isn't it?
together and we'll see you in a bit. Bye.
Well, hello, welcome back. We've opened the box and had a look at the drone. Do get some instruction booklets and little cards of what to do, not what to do. The drone itself is all covered in stickers, so that sort of tells you how to unfold it, what should go where. Bit confusing, I think, with the charging side of it. It doesn't know physical instructions to tell you how to charge the thing. It's a bit self-explanatory because of the ports that are on it, but there's no actual say like, you know, the battery's inside it and this is how you charge it. But you sort of got to figure that out. Luckily we're with a few Facebook groups, so we asked on there.
Yeah.
And lucky enough, people helped us out.
Yeah, they're quite handy. So if you are thinking of getting a Mini Mavic,
Yes.
there's 2 UK Facebook groups that you can join, and I'll link him to the video, so in the comments below.
Yeah, I'd recommend that. If you're doing about anything, buying anything or thinking about doing anything as a hobby, try and look on Facebook for local groups or social media for local groups that you're thinking of actually doing, because you get a lot of information off of people that actually do it and stuff like that. It does help you out a lot. It's helped us out with all different things, really. Yeah, the charging thing was the only issue for me, really. It didn't really tell you anything on how to do it. It's a bit like when you get like a new iPhone or like a brand new phone. The new phones nowadays, it doesn't really give you anything. It's all sort of, you've got to look at it, self-explanatory, trying to figure it out yourself. I think I could have made that a little bit better. We got just a bog standard one, even though it's still not cheap. You don't actually get a plug with it, which is a bit annoying. You get
the
the leads.
amount of money that you spend,
you get a lead.
You'd expect to plug in there.
Get the charging lead and USB to micro USB lead. You get the
dog's
free Buddy's walking right past the camera. You get the free leads to attach to your phone. I don't know all the names of them, but it fits most smartphones now. Yeah, you just don't really get. I mean, you could, if it don't give you a plug, they could give you 2 charging leads, which would be nice, because then you could charge them both at the same time if you just wanted to use the original lead. Although I've got a new lead anyway, so it's not such a problem.
Definitely something to bear in mind.
Yeah.
But you can use an iPhone plug.
You can use any
like that.
5-volt plug from what I've seen. It doesn't actually say on the battery, but we've asked and people said you can use any plug. So.
But there is 2 types of packages that you can get. So we just got the bog standard pack because that was expensive as it is.
From like our situation.
But obviously, if you are in a better position or you can afford a more expensive option, we definitely recommend it. It's called the Fly Combo Pack.
Yeah. We were umming and ahhing about it because it was all like the drone to us was quite expensive, and then putting an extra 100 odd quid on top of it was expensive as well. So
but then we afterwards, once we bought it, we sat down and worked it out, and it would actually work out cheaper.
Once you actually, I mean, the batteries, the single battery on their own are 45. I think they're
45.
Yeah, £45 each, and you get 3. So that's
that's
over 100 quid
already.
I mean, you can maybe knock off one because you do get one originally in the packet itself. But I mean, that's still 90 quid with just the 2 batteries. Even if you buy them brand new on their own, you're going to spend £90, and that's most of the pack that you buy is already paid for. So I would recommend it, to be fair, for what you get. And the fact you get the battery hub thing, I think is a much better, because like we're going to buy another battery, but obviously we're going to have to keep changing them out and waiting a long time for one to charge. Whereas where you've got the pack, you can charge them all. So I'd say it's worth it if you've got the money.
Definitely.
We didn't,
and you get these guards that go round the
you get propeller guards
as well, so you can fly them closer to objects or indoors, but it's not recommended.
Yeah, don't ever fly them indoors. It's not something that expensive. It's not worth it.
Do bear in mind, if you do put the prop guards on, that it will weigh over.
It will push you over your limit.
So you will need to register it if you're going to be using prop guards.
Same with like people have been putting stickers or vinyl wraps and things like that on them. That's just enough to put it over the limit. Well, it's just enough to round it off to 250, and then you will be in that limit where you have to register it. But like I said, I think a rule of thumb is just to register it anyway.
It's £9, so it's not going to break the bank, and it covers your back.
Yeah. Anyone ever asks or moans it, you can go, well, it's registered, and I've got the thing.
You get a sticker as well that you can stick on your drone,
so it's found, or
to say that you're a registered flyer as well.
Aviator, or whatever they call it.
And another thing that we found out as well when we was looking on YouTube and looking about the Mavic before we actually bought one, was certain rules as well that you have to follow. So
yes, all the rules you need to learn.
Like not flying over people or congested areas.
So yeah, can't go above 400 metres, I think.
If you do actually upload a video onto YouTube and you've shown that you've not abided by the rules, the flying aviation club or something, they will actually find you and send you like a 2,000 to 10,000
It can be up to £2,000, can't it? At one time they can fine you. So yeah, they look like fun. As some people would say, they can be toys, but most people they're not toys because it's quite expensive and it can hurt someone, I suppose, if you did it.
Dropping from that height.
Yeah. So just treat them with respect,
people haven't been following the rules.
Yeah, with a lot of videos, which all like people are supposed to having fun with them, maybe not in the right context. Took them over cities or took them over people's gardens or across bridges and stuff. You shouldn't really be doing that because if it fell, it would do some damage to that. And the thing is, you're not covered for liability if you're not insured.
But you can get liability insurance.
You can get it. Yeah. But there's still a bit of a grey area with covering people with these drones, you see. If you hit something, how'd you pay out for it?
She's very clingy, by the way.
Yeah, she wants to be in the video.
What else would we say? So we know that Scotland
really,
is known for being like really windy. So Marc has downloaded an app called, what's it called?
It's a UAV app, I think. I think that stands for like Unmanned Aerial Vehicle app.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure about it, but I saw it on a video. So the fellow recommended to actually download this because it tells you what the wind speed and temperature of the wind is above you as such, rather than you like on the ground thinking, oh, it's not too bad. Obviously up there, it could be a lot worse.
So I'll link that below in the description box as well, so you can check that app out. So we're going to try that. We know that Scotland's also known for a lot of rain as well.
I won't be taking out adverse weather at all.
I wouldn't say it's waterproof.
No, it's not. No, you don't take it out in the rain, don't take it out in high winds.
So it needs to be like a clear day. I think the drone that we've got can go up to 30 miles per hour, and it can only stand against winds that are 15 miles per hour.
Well, I think it's 13, I think, to be honest, off the top of my head.
I don't know.
I wouldn't go above that. I mean, you could probably go near that, to be fair. You could probably do like 15 miles an hour,
and
maybe.
You need to stay at least, how many metres is it above water, or it'll just drop in it or something?
I'd say at least 10 metres,
10
maybe.
metres.
But
it's got to be 10 metres above water because it's got sensors and
it will reflect. It won't be able to tell how high or low it is off the ground because obviously it's reflecting the sensor off of the reflection of the water. So it'll either do two things. It'll either go straight down or it'll go straight up. And obviously if you're a couple of feet above a bit of water and it can't figure out what it's doing, that's it. You've not got your drone anymore. So
no, and we can't.
We've seen that on a few videos. So just got to just watch the videos like we did. People tell you what not to do, what to do. Just get as much information in as you can before you actually, purchase them because they're not cheap. And if you make one mistake because you're excited and that's 300 odd quid, 400 quid gone down the pan. If you haven't got a lot of money, that's a lot of money. It's going to be very bittersweet if you lose it within your first week of having it. It's 400 quid you've just flushed down the toilet, basically. So just do your research like anything, really.
So I guess what will happen now is we've put it on charge. So we started charging it at 6 p.m. We're going to check on it again at 7. But in the groups, people have said it's taken up to 8 to 10 hours to charge.
About 10 hours, I think.
So we just want to test that.
It's the first charge, so you want to leave it on the
Yeah, we just want to test that theory out. So the next time you'll see us, hopefully, we can explain to you how about setting the drone up.
Yeah, we can start using the app, downloading the
things
formatting
that you must do before you even fly the drone.
Calibrate it, do the compass calibration,
We'll
let it sort itself out and then connect properly.
Hopefully we will be out in the field because we live in the countryside, so we're quite lucky.
Yes.
So they recommended doing your first flight like in a wide open area.
They want to be in it. No, want to be in it as well.
And then we'll be able to get some nice shots of the dogs in the fields as well, which will be really nice. So yeah, that's about it for now. We'll see you hopefully outside. Bye. So we have just finished charging the drone up and we couldn't resist. And we watched some videos prior to this, so we're not stupid. But when the drone takes off, it only goes up 4 meters. So we thought that we would try it in the garden. We're in an open area and I thought I'd just film Marc taking off for the first time. I'm just going to flip the camera around. So this is Marc's first flight of the drone. It is very, very noisy. But look at our little drone. It's so cool. And now Marc's going to land it. It takes a bit of a time to land, but it's so cool. The camera on it is really good at night time as well. Like you can see really clear. There you go. And it's landed. What do you think, Marc?
Yeah, good. A bit nerve-wracking, but to be honest, it's a lot easier than I thought it was, to be fair. It's quite easy. yeah, exciting for testing it properly.
So we'll update how it went and that tomorrow. So we'll speak in the morning or tomorrow afternoon. See you. Bye.
Hello. As you can probably see on our previous videos on our channel, we've already been to Scotland and had an adventure, and we've got more videos coming up. We thought we'd give you like an honest review of the DJI Mini Mavic Mini in it. I forgot what it's called because I don't call it that anymore. We just call it a drone. Yeah, give you an honest review and what it's like to own one and how to operate it and the flaws of it and what two untechy people how to use it really.
So yeah, so we're just gonna quickly give our opinions and then we'll show you how to set it up.
Onto the drone.
So a lot of the places that we went to in Scotland was very, very windy.
Yes, open, very open.
Very open. We still managed to get a few good shots, which if you've watched our videos you'll see. And the quality of the camera, for me, I'd probably give a 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
it was very good.
It does this thing sometimes when you don't have signal. It sort of pixelates sometimes. I don't know if that's to do with the resolution. I don't know what causes that problem. But sometimes I just find if you just take it off the record and put it back on, then it goes back to normal, like, you know.
Yeah.
That's
sometimes as well it jitters. Some of the footage I couldn't use because the camera shook, but I'm not sure if that's because it's fighting against the wind or
that could be my
whether just controlling it.
That could be my piloting skills.
So I'll let Marc explain how he found to use it because I don't really control. I'm more of the spotter.
Yes, that's the one thing I would mention that you just said. You can go out on your own. A lot of people get confident with it, do go out on their own. But if you have got a partner or you've got someone who can be a spotter, it's a lot easier to have two people because what you'll find is, what a lot of people say on their other videos as well, is that you'll be so concentrating on the controls and what it's recording, you're not actually paying attention to what the drone itself is physically doing and what potentially it's near to. So it's good to have someone with you sometimes just to say, oh, watch that tree branch, watch that wire, you know, watch the wall. Because you're not paying attention to it sometimes. You're sometimes so fixated on your phone what it's recording and you're not looking at the drone all the time.
Yeah, and also because obviously we went to touristy places, there was people about. We never flew it over people.
No.
But when it came to landing, we had to make sure that we took off from a secluded area and that when we were landing, you know, it wasn't going anywhere near anybody.
Yeah.
So
make sure you've got a clear path where you've took off. If you're going to take off and then you've got to walk around or something and you're going to want it to land a different location to where you are now, just like you said, like I said, we're having a spotter, just make sure you've got a clear path. And I prefer personally to bring it back to me physically. There is a home function button on there where it will return to where it's taken off, but it won't take into account if there's obstacles and stuff like that, or you've moved or stuff like that. So like I said, I prefer physically just to watch the drone and just physically on the controls bring it back to myself. I find it's a bit safer that way.
One thing I will point out though is that when we was testing it in the field in the previous clip that you just seen, I went to catch it with my hands and I actually caught my finger and it did actually really chop my finger a lot. So just be wary that you're putting your hand as flat as possible.
If you're going to pick it up by your hand, practice with it, and it will because it's got the sensors on the bottom. Wherever it comes into contact with, it will think it's automatically going to hit something or it's going to crash. So it will try and lift itself up a little bit. But then all I do is I hold down on the left stick to bring it down, and just keep holding it down. And eventually it will realise what you're trying to do. It will realise that you're trying to make it land, and it will start initiating itself to try and land.
Yeah.
But what we didn't know that when we first took it out, and I made the mistake of telling the shark, "Oh, just grab it." And obviously the drone freaked out, thinking it was going to crash, and it shot itself up and down, and then it caught her finger, and that was my fault. I should have just
So just be wary.
told her to keep her hand flat.
of kids, you know, if you're getting your kids to help out or whatever.
If you're not confident with it, it is better to probably just land it on the floor or land it on. We bought a carry case for it, a cheaper one off of Amazon, and that's basically what we use most of the time.
Yeah, we'll show you that in a minute.
And to land it back on, it's just easier that way.
So Mark, how did you find controlling the drone with the controller?
Easy, very easy. It's any tips? Try and use the drone as much as you can. If you've got a bit of time before you're going away, in an area you don't know where you're going to use the drone, because I find if I leave a bit of a gap between when I've used it to when we go somewhere else, I might spend 15-20 minutes setting it up, which is quite a long time if you're only going to be at a place for a short period, to try and fix it, you know, to readjust the controls. You're going to forget where everything works, so try and practice with it maybe just before you're going to go away as well, and that way you'll remember. Another good tip is, which we haven't done but I should do really, is you can go on eBay and other websites and actually buy a set of stickers that you can actually put on the front face of the control, and it's a lot easier for you to memorise what control does what, and you know how it moves the drone. That's something else.
We also will mention as well that before we went to Scotland, we went to some other various places like the Yorkshire Dales, Huddersfield.
Went to a couple of waterfalls
and some other places,
and
we went to practice there as well. Yeah. So if you are going on a big trip, maybe try practicing somewhere that it has got a waterfall or we went to a reservoir as well.
That was really good. That was quite windy, but the drone handled it well. Just use a bit of common sense really. They've only got so many limitations when it comes to wind. Like in the beginning of the video we said about you download an app. There's quite a few apps out there which tell you, because on the ground, like when you're on the ground with the drone, you're like, oh, it's a little bit windy, but it's not so bad. But when you shoot the drone up,
it's different.
There's nothing protecting it from the wind, and the wind is a lot faster the higher you go. So, like I said, on the ground it might be like, oh, it's fine, yeah, this will be fine. But up there it could be struggling a lot. A good thing about the drone, which I think is really good, is if there's anything wrong with the drone, or if it's struggling, or if it's anything that's going to compromise the drone, like it's going to have an accident, it will verbally and physically tell you on your phone. It will give out a warning saying, you know, you need to land, it's too windy, or it's too rough, it's something wrong with the propellers, or you're too near something. It will tell you most of the time.
Yeah, so make sure you've got your volume up on your phone.
Make sure you put your volume up. I find that when you put your phone in as well, especially for iPhones, maybe some other brands, if you've got the button on the side which you use to turn it on silent, that little switch, I normally flip the phone the other way, because what you'll find is when you put the phone into the controller, it will hit that switch and it will mute it, and you won't realise, and then you might not hear this audio telling you that you've done something wrong or the drone needs to do it. It tells you on the screen, but I find that does help sometimes.
It also reminds you as well, if you haven't set your home point, it will say like, please set home point.
Yeah, like update home point.
Yeah.
So
say your phone died, it wouldn't know where to return, so it might just whiz off
like
somewhere.
I said before, like if you take off and you move, don't rely on that return to home button, because the drone will think, oh, you're still over there, and it will take off going there. And I think you can stop it from landing, but I have not actually tried. But I have seen other people where it's running out of battery and they've pressed the return to home, and because it's running out of battery, it won't physically let you do anything. It will just come down and, without it realising, actually try and crash itself, because it thinks that that's the safe path.
Yeah.
That's about it, really.
I think you did use return to home once though, but then as soon as you touch the sticks, it knocked it off, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it has got a fail-safe. If you try and stop it, it will. The only thing I had noticed it hasn't happened to us, but on other videos, is that if it's dying, if the battery's getting really low, it will try and land regardless, and you can't really adjust it. It will just come down. It won't come down flying. It'll crash. It will just descend slowly. But if there's anything there, it will still hit it, because it's trying to land to save itself from crashing. So
we normally keep our battery to about 40%, then we bring it back, charge it, and then take it out again.
It gets down to about 40 or 35 if it's away from us, and then we'll bring it back, and then by the time you get to there, you're sort of mid-20s.
We've not really done long distance flights, have we?
Not really, no.
Not really.
We've always been near it, you know. It's always been where we are, isn't it? Where we've flown it.
We've never gone too far out somewhere. No. We've not got that brave yet, even in Scotland. But in Scotland, we actually encountered a problem. So we only managed to get some footage. I mean, we still got a lot of footage.
About half the footage, I suppose.
But then we got a warning that one of our propellers had broke.
It weren't broke. It's a thing that comes down to what case you buy for it. when you store it, because you've got propellers underneath it and on top of it, if you don't store them a certain way, what happens is they get pressure on them and they'll bend, and then the propeller's not, you know, as straight or as safe as what it should be as such, if that makes sense. Once it's bent, then it's going to spin too fast or too slow. And again, that's what's good about the drone. It will actually tell you that. It will say, you know, that's what has come up. It will come up a warning on top of the screen saying that you need to land, you know, propellers not spinning too slow or too fast. And another good thing about it, which I think is really clever, which is what ours has done, I need to repair it, it will actually, when it lands after this message, it will actually tell you which prop or which propeller needs replacing. It will twitch. It will keep twitching after it's landed, and then that will tell you that's the one that needs replacing. But I know a good rule of thumb is just to replace them all. So that's probably what we'll end up doing in the end.
Yeah. Some other features of the drone which we found quite impressive and quite good. It has 3 automatic filming modes.
Yeah.
We've tried all of them. One of them we didn't realise went back so far, but luckily we was in an open field. And I think that was the Helix.
I can't remember what they are because I haven't been on it for a while.
But there's one that literally, you stand in the middle and it just zooms around.
There's one that will go around you in a 360.
And then
one that shoots
right
back and it'll come back.
And then it like zooms into you. And then there's one that goes right out and right round. And that, just bear in mind if there's any trees about.
That's another thing. Like I said, if you have a spotter, if you're going to it's like an auto tracker that's on there basically with the film. It lets you do these manoeuvres, and they automatically, you can choose where it tracks on your screen before you actually do the manoeuvre. But do think about what's around you.
Environment, because Mark went to do it once, and if I wasn't spotting, it would have gone into a tree.
We was in that field that you saw, playing about with what it can do with this auto tracking, and I didn't know I was too close to set of trees with the drone before I started.
It zoomed like
and
right
it zoomed
back.
off, and I didn't know that it would go that far back. And lucky enough, like I said, because I had a spotter, she told me it's going to hit that.
But
and
as soon as you touch the control, it cancels
it and it will return to where it first. So you set it off to do this manoeuvre, it will come back.
So if you're ever worried that it is going to hit something, just manoeuvre the controller quickly.
Tap on the control, and it will
cancel the automation of the thing. But they are quite good to use to get some really nice shots.
They're really good.
Yeah, we've got some really good ones.
Yeah.
What would you say is the best mode to film in?
I mean, you've got the cinematic mode, which is the C one, I think, which is probably your best one.
For vlogging.
For filming, because it slows the controls down. It's not so much what mode, I think it literally is the practice. The only thing I do find that's a bit hard is when you move the camera up and down. It can be quite sharp, so that's what I think you have to practice with. It's the top left button on the top of the controller that lifts the dongle up and down. That I find quite difficult at times, but you do get used to it. Sport mode's really good. Sport mode is if you want very fast shots, because you've got to edit and you can slow them down and speed them up.
So that's more like if you're following a car or a van.
Yeah, if you're following
a car. We didn't get a chance to get any of them shots.
It was a bit awkward for us to do, wasn't it, really?
It was a very hectic day.
We had a big motorhome, and to find a place to turn around and come back, film, pick us up, turn around, it wasn't really ideal. If you had a party if there was a couple of vehicles, then it would have worked really well. But
so we've still got to try that out, and also if you want to follow someone in the air that's running along the path or something like that.
Another really good thing for people like motocross, that works really well. For people that like doing trialing, which is biking, push biking, off-road, that works really well.
You can actually tap what you want to track as well, can't you?
Yeah, I don't know if it's...
We haven't tried any of this yet.
I know on other drones and other drones features that this company have made, this DJI, there is auto tracking. You can track a person and walk away and stuff like that. I don't know I don't think this has got it, but I know it's something they're working on bringing back into the DJI, the mini ones, so that people can just track their physical self and just walk off and it will follow you. Yeah.
While you mention that, since we bought this drone, there has been another drone that has come out, which is the DJI Mini Mavic 2. So we've got the original, but now there is another one that's out, and it's supposed to be more windproof, so it should be able to deal with wind more.
Yeah, I mean, ours did pretty well.
Yeah.
Some things you can't handle.
And I think the image quality is maybe a little bit better, but to be fair, the quality of this camera is
very good.
Very good. I mean, our videos look like you're really there if you've watched them. But overall, for the price we paid, I'd probably give this drone a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I probably would. It's very simple to use. It's very easy to use once you get used to it. It does feel flimsy. It does, but any drone you're going to have is going to feel flimsy because it's light. It needs to be light so it can fly up and it can function.
But for the overall product, I'd give it 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
1 point probably because, like Mark mentioned earlier, it doesn't fit all phones.
Yeah, the phone's another
and
thing.
if you have a case on your phone as well, you have
Can't
to keep
put a
taking
case
it
on
off.
your phone. A lot of smartphones are quite big now. A lot of the plus size phones are like S10 Plus and 11 iPhone 11 Plus and that. They're bigger, longer, wider phones, which doesn't really sit in the cradle with the controller. Unfortunately, we can only use Sian's phone in it. Can't use my phone, my S10, because it's too big. It just doesn't fit in there. So I'm hoping that's an issue they bring out for the newer drones that they bring out. They make the cradle wider or expandable, because obviously phones are getting bigger now. So
you can buy a connection as well, which can join onto it for iPads, so you've got a better picture of what you can see and what's going on.
We didn't get it because it's a bit bulky, isn't it? Really, having something as big as that on the, because it makes the controller heavy itself.
I mean, we was okay because we was in a motorhome. We could keep constantly charging it up. So when we got back in the van to travel half an hour or an hour to the next place,
it's charged. Well,
it was charged ready for the next.
Got a big bit of charge in it, hasn't it?
For the next spot as well. So what would you rate it out of 10?
Probably about 8 out of 10. Yeah, probably an 8 out of 10. Just I find the annoying thing that the cradle's not very big, which is a bit annoying for a newer drone. Yeah, I suppose that's about it really. Not particularly. No, I wouldn't say too many negatives really.
No?
Yeah, I'd say 8 out of 10 because of that, putting your phone in it, which is a bit annoying. And it's not really good with wind, I suppose, but then no drone is really.
But then again, we was in some wind and it handled it really well. So
apart from that, I wouldn't say anything else really. I think 9 out of 10 is a bit too high. It's still a good drone, but obviously it needs
good.
things. It could have things to improve, like anything really.
So what we'll do now is we'll get it out and we'll film how to set it up, and then I will show you the DJI app and things that are on it. And hope you enjoy it. Take care.
Oh, this is our drone. See, this is what I was on about with what case you have. It can sometimes squash the propellers, and then that's what causes a problem. You can get these little harnesses that you can buy for it, but I think like a hairband or an elastic band would work quite well. So you put the top ones out first. Just be gentle with it. And then the bottom, I'll just flip it over. The bottom ones fold out on a hinge. Like that. Let's put that propeller again on a hinge.
Yeah, so you might feel like you're going to break it, but you won't. Just remember to read the labels of how to open the legs.
Yeah, it tells you, when you get all these stickers on the arms and everything anyway, like the cover. You'll get a sticker here. This is the dongle cover. It's got a little clip at the back. Just be gentle with it, because sometimes it will catch the camera. Just very gently. I'll bring it forward, and then I don't know if you can see on the case, it's got two little hooks there. They just go in just in front of the camera, underneath, sort of underneath there. Just try and make sure when you put it back, try and hook both of them hooks underneath it, like sort of underneath there, and then clip it down, because what you'll find is you'll actually squash the camera, and then you don't want to force it down because you could do some damage to it. And you can see it will oscillate. It's not on at the moment, just because we're showing how we set it up. Did you want me to turn the drone on or not?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So now Mark's going to show you how he connects and sets up the controller to the phone.
So what we do is I take everything out of the case, the drone and the controls, and like I said in the other video, I use our case is what I use to take it off with. So what I would normally do is, I'll leave it here for now so you can see it. And whatever you do, however you do set it off, if you set it off on a case or if you set it off or something, you need to make sure that the dongle, the camera here, it can actually move freely. It's not banged up against anything, or it's not up against the floor, because it will test itself. It tests all its parts before it actually takes off. So you do need to have the camera here. You need to have it clear so it can move itself around. I'll just turn it on for you so you can actually see. That's your on button. Press once, and it will show you how much its charge is on, and then you press and hold, and it will turn itself on. That's how you turn it off. Sorry. So press twice, and then hold the second time. You can just hear it now. It's just twitching itself now to sort itself out. And then you've got your controller. It's on red at the moment now because it's showing that it's not synced up. So pull your antennas out, and then if you fold it out underneath the bottom, if you bring the cradle right out, you will have the thumb sticks there that you simply just screw in. Pretty much like that. That's that. Same again on that side. Screw them in. There we go, screwed in. And that's your cradle. And then that's where you can put your connection in. It will look like when you charge it as well, it will look like you can't find a connection for that, but it's just a micro USB lead that will click into that. It's no different, it just looks strange. And then we've already got the phone unlocked and on the app. You can see it says there, connect aircraft. And what I normally do is put down something. And we grab me the connection, put it in the back of the phone. Try your best not to bend it. If I click it, that's it. And then
that's Lexie moaning, by the way.
I'll slide the connection with what's connected to the phone in the cradle first. There, like I said, it does stick out. It does go into this groove, but I put it in there first just so it doesn't cause any stress on that connection. And then I normally, sorry about the angle here, push them together like that, and that's pretty much secure now. That's not going to go anywhere. That's control to set up. And then if you want to turn it on, the top right hand button, just there. Again, same thing. If you press it once, it shows you how much charge is on. If you press it twice and hold the second time, you'll hear the audio cue. There you go. And now it's flashing, and it will try and look for the aircraft. There you go, it's just made the noise now, so it's recognised the controller.
Oh yeah, it does charge your phone up as well at the same time when it's plugged in.
So now you can see, that's what it's looking at right now. It is looking, you can probably see my hand in a minute. There's my hand.
So as you can see, there's a little red box on the screen. They're your warning signs that you need to look out for. So this one says unable to take off, and it will be that there's no GPS. So it's more than likely the drone is calibrating with a controller, which Marc is going to show you.
Yeah, in the top right hand corner, got 3 little dots. If you tap that, if it comes up, there we go. And in the bottom right hand corner, you'll see in blue writing, it will say calibrate.
Oops.
You just tap that, and then it will tell you what to do. Normally, it will tell you to fold the drone up and start, but you don't have to if you don't want to. We don't do that. So
we're not going to show you, but basically if you follow all the instructions that come up on screen here, it will show you how to do it.
It will tell you to pick up the drone and spin it 360 with it level horizontally, and then 360 vertically, just so it can tell what it's doing.
But yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, there you go.
And then if you look here on the left hand side, that's what the camera's actually looking at. So it's looking at the greenhouse, but as you can tell, it's really good quality.
Yeah, there you go, that's what it's looking at.
So, but yeah, that's how you set up the drone.
Yeah, that's it.
And then once it's all set up, then that red box will turn green and say safe to fly.
Yep.
And then there'll be another button there, what Marc just pointed at.
That one there.
And that will get you ready for takeoff.
You press that, it won't take off if I touch it, but it'll give you a warning message there saying that it's going to auto take off, and to make sure that everything's clear above it and the clear around it. All you do is hold that for a few seconds, and it'll go green, and then it will take off for about 5 or 6 foot, and it will just hover, and then you can start controlling the drone.
There you go.
And that's pretty much it. And then the top left hand corner is your modes. You can just tap it and it's sport mode, makes it faster. You've got cinematic mode,
which I love.
I prefer this one because it stiffens the controls up and makes it a bit slower, which I think makes it easier if you're not very good at controlling the drone. But the P mode is probably the most common one that everyone uses.
But yeah, so that's how you set the drone up. So thank you for watching our video. We hope you found it helpful. If you have any comments about our drone, anything you want to know, just drop them in the comments below. We'll be happy to help you. Yeah, if you ever get stuck on anything with these drones or any drone you've got, literally just look on Facebook. You'll find a group, and a lot of the people are willing to tell you what's wrong with it, what you need to do, or if you're stuck. I got stuck with the propellers because I didn't know what the warning was. Looked online and looked on the group, and within a few minutes someone told me what it was, and now I know how to fix it. So hope this is all right. And remember, guys, adventure is out there.